So many of us have no idea and never been taught how to work in partnership. Partnership is about multiplying the efforts instead of working independently all the time. And many people have no clue how to do partnership work. This is why most businesses in America are sole proprietors. Think about that. Most businesses that are trying to create income and wealth have one person who has no idea or no desire to work with other people in terms of how to push forward their purpose, how to push forward their agenda. And so it's crazy, incredible how few people have figured out how to use the force of multiplication. Multiplication. If you can't multiply, how are you going to grow? And the challenge we have is that most of our parents have not set a good example for how to be in partnership. So most human beings see partnership as dangerous and dysfunctional. Most human beings see partnership as dangerous and dysfunctional. They stay away from partnerships, and this is what actually limits their own personal growth, development, and their bringing forth their life purpose. Look, if you're here to achieve all of it by yourself, it's going to take a long time. And how is it that some people know how to call forth the power of healthy partnerships? Now, by the way, for those of you who are here, this is very connected to God. This is very connected to God. Because if you are not able, or you are afraid, or you have been told that partnerships don't work, how the hell are you going to believe in God? That's the ultimate partnership. If your partnership in your marriage or your partnership in business hasn't been beneficial for you, it's going to be pretty challenging for you to partner with the greatest partner in the entire universe, right? Think about that. How many people are desiring partnership, whether it's romantic partnership or business partnership, yet their relationships are dysfunctional? So whether you want to find your life partner, whether you want to find a business partner, or better yet, if you want to find the ultimate partner who can help you unlock all of the challenges that you can ever think of, God, before you can find that partnership, you must first become a good partner. Because your relationships determine your success. Everybody says that. Everybody in business, everybody who's successful in life says that your relationships determine your success. So what is the ultimate relationship? First of all, your relationship with yourself. How do you treat yourself? What do you look at in terms of how to treat yourself? Because a lot of people are told to treat themselves well. We're told to treat ourselves with love, but most people don't even know what that means. Does that mean I gotta take myself for a massage? Does that mean I gotta have positive affirmations said to myself? Or is there something deeper that I must become in contact with in order to really connect with myself? So I got some tools for you today. And these tools will help you not only connect to yourself, but to connect with all partners. And eventually, the greatest partner, which is God. Now, before you start thinking, what is God and why is this guy talking about religion? This is not a religious class. I'm talking about your life's purpose. I'm talking about how to become profitable. Because if you're working independently, profitability is a big, heavy word. But when you got other people partnering with you in your purpose, profitability is inevitable. So there's 4 elements I want to talk about today in terms of partnership. The first element in terms of partnership is how much do you hold integrity with yourself? How much integrity do you hold with yourself? In other words, when your partner is not looking, do you cheat? When your partner is not looking, do you do the things that you think are bad, but as long as no one's watching, you're fine? So here's my thing about that. You know who's watching when you cheat, lie, and steal? You know who's really watching? You. And when you continue to watch yourself betray yourself, what starts to happen is your self-worth diminishes. You're devaluing yourself every time you betray yourself. Every time you know the feeling is not a good feeling, but you do it anyway, what you're really saying is, I am allowing negative behaviors, feelings, thoughts, and patterns to exist in my kingdom. I'm allowing it. And guess what? After you have a kingdom filled with critters and cockroaches and ants and dung beetles, guess what? First of all, the value of your kingdom is low. In the stock market, we call that a plummeting of your share value. You're having low share prices. And what starts to happen is others who are valuing your shares, I'm talking stock market language here, others who are valuing your shares are looking at the valuation and they're saying, this kingdom that this person has built is not of high value. In fact, the CEO of the kingdom is lying, cheating, and stealing on themselves. This is pretty intense, right? Because so many of us have been told by our parents that it's okay to lie, cheat, and steal as long as you get ahead. This is a poverty mentality, because in the field of poverty, most people start to do things that they are out of integrity with. They're coming from a place of survival. And so when you come from survival, what you're doing is you're saying that as long as... Excuse me. 1 second, I got some feedback. 1 second. Okay. So what you're doing in the field of poverty, which is what your parents have taught you, is you're saying to yourself, as long as I make some money and survive, it's okay. I can do whatever out of integrity thing I need to do because my survival is important. And that's exactly what parents teach us when they come from a space of poverty. Poverty parents tell us that as long as we are safe in terms of not dying, it's okay to do anything even if it's out of integrity. And my memory to you is that you deserve way better than just survival. My memory to you is that there is way greater kingdoms out there than the kingdom that you've been shown by the poverty parents who were focused solely on survival rather than on thrival, because in the field of thrival, the types of tools you use are way different than in the field of survival. In the field of survival, the tools we use are mostly defense-oriented. If that's true, say amen to that. In the field of survival, the tools we use are defense-oriented. Why? Because we are trying to protect and conserve. In the field of thrival, we're not using defense. In the field of thrival, we are penetrating with faith, knowing that survival is already taken care of. We're not spending energy on surviving. We are remembering that the prosperity is already there, and that instead of focusing and investing our energy into defense, we can focus and invest our energy into penetrating our life's purpose. Our life's purpose. That's a good word, because when you think about purpose, is your purpose here to just survive? Did God put you on this earth just so you can survive? Was that your purpose? Because if it is, it's a whole different path. And if your purpose, by the way, only you know your purpose, I'm not here to tell you what your purpose is, what it should be. Whatever it is, it's blessed. Your body will remind you of what your purpose is, because when you're in purpose, you're in the emotion of joy. And when you're out of purpose, you're in the emotions of resentment, anger, shame, sadness. So when you're in your joy, in your life's purpose, are you in survival? Or are you in a space of thrival, in a space of expansion, in a space of flourishing? And the tools that we use in the field of expansion and flourishing are not the same tools that we use in the field of survival, otherwise known as anger, sad, shy, shame, resentment. And what I'm here to do is I'm here to make an exchange with you. I'm here to remind you that there are two paths. And that if you found really powerful, strong tools in the field of survival, perhaps you've been going the wrong way, my brother. Because in the field of survival, we can find a lot of significance. There's a lot of significance to be had in the field of survival. In fact, most human beings are finding their significance in survival. And they are creating more and more circumstances in their life so that they can show their friends and family how great of a survivor they are. Have you ever done that? Have you ever expanded the problems in your life? Have you ever opened more and more challenges in your life just so you can show yourself and others how incredible of a problem solver you are? And let me tell you, most of us, people who've come from poverty mentality, children of slaves, are really great at shining in the field of problem solving. In fact, most of our families spend their entire lives trying to problem solve and show others how great of problem solvers they are and how much pain and suffering they can endure. Wow. That's one path. It's not the only path. It's not the only path. There's a whole nother path. The other path isn't about how much problems you can solve. The other path isn't about how much survival you can withstand. The other path is not about how much suffering you can endure. Brothers and sisters, let me tell you, that is all easy for you. It is so easy. In fact, if you come from a poverty family, you likely have become a master at survival. You've likely become a master of suffering. You can likely endure world-class, Olympic level, humanitarian level suffering. That's easy for you. That was easy for me too. You know, I went through bomb shelters. I went through immigration across continents. I went through poverty. I went through all kinds of sexual shame and traumas. That's easy. That's not a challenge. The real challenge is in the new path. The path that you may have forgotten, the path that your parents never spent time mastering. And in this path, which is the opposite of pain and suffering, problem solving, survival, this path is the path of thrival. This path is defined by finding your significance, your empowerment, your light in how easy, how effortless your life is. Now, that might be a challenge for you. That might be a big challenge for you, because if you've spent a considerable amount of your life showing everyone what an incredible, fantastic, world-class, Olympic level problem solver you are, now changing gears to showing people how easy your life is, how effortless your life is, and how significant you are because your life is so incredibly easy that you grow and create with effortlessness. That might be a challenge for you. Might be a challenge. And the reason that's a challenge is because you must first give yourself permission to let go of being significant in the field of pain and suffering. You must first let go of giving yourself permission in the field of problem solving? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to let go of how significant you are? How powerful you are? How strong you are when it comes to solving world-class problems? Are you willing to let it go? You see, for a lot of people, they've invested so much time and energy, and they're so popular, so well known within their friends and family of how great they can endure pain, suffering, challenges, problems, being broke, having heartbreak, that now, when a new path is introduced, there's a sense of loyalty. How loyal are you to your pain? How loyal are you to your suffering? How loyal are you to the identity that you have built around being significant in challenge? You see, loyalty only goes so far. Do you want to be known as a loyal person in the field of pain and suffering? Because if you do, that's beautiful. There's no shame in that. It's blessed. It's amazing. Go for it. Show us more of how much you can suffer and beat yourself. It's endless. There's plenty of time left. You got years left to continue. But if you choose to, you can easily, gracefully, with joy and celebration, with a press of a button, shift the entire thing. And it's so easy because the new path isn't about pain and suffering, it's all about ease and grace. So even the shift between the pain and suffering and the ease and grace can come through ease and grace. In other words, you don't have to punish yourself and beat yourself for shifting gears. You can, in this moment, say to yourself, wow, I give myself permission to shift from pain and suffering to ease and grace with ease and grace. And that I no longer need to be loyal to the challenge and problem solving muscle that I've built over the years. And I now have a new level of loyalty to how easy I want my life to be. And I don't know what that's even going to look like yet. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. Because in the field of ease and grace, we're talking about miracles. In the field of ease and grace, we're talking about none other than ease and grace. And if you're not used to ease and grace, you may be illiterate. You may be illiterate in the field of ease and grace. Your literacy was built in the factory of pain and suffering, but here we're talking about a new language of ease and grace, which is really a way of communicating with the universe and God, where you are served instead of being a servant slave. You see, even in the old story of Moses, the slaves were so committed and so loyal to their pain and suffering that even when help came and help said, hey, I want to get you out of this pain and suffering, this misery, this problem solving, this pain, most of the slaves, what they said is, no thank you. We don't know what that looks like, so we'll just stay right here. Go away. So this is natural for us because when we go from slavery into freedom, there is an ego death that needs to happen. And the ego death is saying, I am willing to give up everything I know in the field that I have mastered for a new field that I have not mastered, but I believe is possible. You see, this belief is the string that takes you from where you are to where you want to be. And it's just a string. And the string of belief doesn't come with an entire encyclopedia of facts and figures and statistical studies. It is just a knowing inside of you. And the question I have for you is, do you know inside of you that there is a better path that is not associated with pain and suffering? Is that even a possibility for you? Because in the field of possibility is where life exists. And if for you, you realize and you acknowledge for yourself that there is a possibility for you to live a life where all of your needs are met and they don't come through pain, suffering, and problem solving, just a possibility, then we can get to work. Then we can start to administer and we can start to evaluate what are the possibilities. But first, the choice must be made that the possibility even exists. Let's take a deep breath together. If you're feeling this, give me an emoji in the chat. We're going layers here. We're going layers, and we're realizing that partnership has to do with being able to receive and be served. And before you are able to be served and receive, you must first choose to get out of pain and suffering. Because for as long as you are pain and suffering and problem solving, you are being a servant, a slave. And if you want to be served, there's plenty of energy, people, and beings that want to serve you, but first you must get out of your own way. Well, how do I get out of my own way? How do I get out of my own way? The first part of getting out of your own way, thank you the guys and girls in the chat, the first part of getting out of your own way is all about acknowledging and owning what is in your way. What is in your way? Is pain and suffering in your way? Is lack of self-worth in your way? Is financial challenges in your way? Is relationship problems with your spouse in your way? Is whatever is in your way, it's okay. It's okay. Just because you own it doesn't mean you surrender and you're dead. In fact, ownership is the beginning of your resurrection. It's the beginning of your thrival, is when you actually have the balls to say, these are the challenges that I struggle with. These are the challenges, man. And the more I can be honest about them, the more I am able to trade them for blessings. The challenges that you hide from yourself, the challenges that you hide from all of your friends and family are the very things that are actually in the way of you receiving help. Imagine if I had these challenges and I was like this with them, and I didn't show them to anybody, even though everybody saw what's happening here. So are you willing to own your problems at such a level that the problems no longer own you? And here we're not talking about owning your problems as in sitting there and beating yourself up, because that's what your parents may have told you is the alternative. We're not talking about taking your problems and saying, oh man, I'm a piece of shit. No, it's the opposite. Where can you take ownership of your challenges in a celebration? Where can you say, man, you guys have no idea how much I'm struggling with addiction to porn. It's blowing my mind. You guys have no idea how much I'm struggling in terms of finding a life partner. It's really a challenge for me, right? And in that energy, you're able to let go, and to not spend so much of your life trying to conceal and hide. You see, this energy of hiding and concealing is actually eating up 40% of your life. All the things that you're trying to hide and push away are taking up so much of your energy. Now, for those of you who are here, I have a challenge for you. If you're enjoying this, I'd like you to press the share button and click the share button and place this live video in a WhatsApp group or on a social media channel right now so that others can see this is available. Whether it's sending it to one friend, sending it to a WhatsApp group, or sending it to your Facebook. I'd like for you to click share if you feel called. If you think that your friends and family will receive some codes, some blessings, share it. Don't just hoard it. This information is the truth and it gets to be spread. and I count on you to help me spread it. Let's take a deep breath. So here's my question for you. When it comes to ease and grace, it's just a choice. It's not even a hard thing. It's just a choice. Sometimes when we think about new paths of life, we assume that the new path has a lot of energy and stuff that needs to be invested in it. In fact, that's not true. The truth is, there are choices we make that are easy. So this choice of ease and grace is an easy choice. And when it comes to the choice, the question I have for you is, how open are you in receiving partnerships in this new choice of ease and grace? In other words, if you're choosing ease and grace, are you willing to let partners in to support you? Are you willing to let energy in that will support you? And let me tell you, the greatest energy I found out of all the supporters that I could ever find is God. And before you start thinking, oh, is he talking about the old white man in the sky from the Bible? No, I'm not talking about that dude. He's kind of cool too, but not him. What I'm talking about, watch this, what I'm talking about is if the most powerful energetic force in the entire universe was willing to partner with you, call him God or universe or whatever you want to call him, how often do you come to the board meetings? How often do you show up to your partnership meetings? How often do you show up into the field of partnership? Or are you focused on doing it all by yourself? Are you focused on doing it all by yourself? And when you do show up to partnership, whether it's with God or with somebody that you just met, how honest are you about your needs? You see, the same partnership that we have with our spouse is the same partnership we have with God. If we hide things from our spouse and we hide things from God, how can you be supported? Who's going to help you if it's just you and you put up a wall between you and the people that are here to support you? In this case, I'll call it God. In your case, you can call it your partner. And when you do show up to your partnerships, watch this, when you show up to your partnerships, how do you show up? How do you dress? Now, let's talk about this. Partnership could be the board meeting you have with God called prayer. When you pray, how do you show up? Are you passive? Are you leaning backwards? Are you letting go of what's really important to you? What is important to you? How do you want somebody to show up for you? If they're here to serve you, what example are you setting in the boardroom? What example are you setting in the boardroom? Now, the boardroom could be you and God. It could also be the bedroom. It's the same thing. When you're in bed with someone, how do you show up? Are you lazy? Are you boring? Are you playful? Are you owning your truth, your power? Are you accountable? This is how the sages connect with the element of God. They do it through internal work first. And only when you've done the internal work of being in integrity, owning your power, owning your challenges, and being playful with yourself, then can you find a partner who is willing to play with you in the same field. In other words, before you embody this yourself, what good partner would come and partner with you? Let me ask you, would you partner with someone who cheats on themselves, who's not playful, who doesn't celebrate anything, is grumpy, beats themselves up all the time, and is not a owner of their challenges? Would you do that? I doubt it. I doubt it. Right? So let's take a deep breath together, and I'm going to close this out in about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you some more good information. Here's my question to you. What is your offering to your partner? In this case, we're going to call it God. If you're here to be in partnership with God, and God is here to serve you in the field of ease and grace, to provide for you everything you want and need and more with ease and grace, my question to you is, what is your offering? What are you coming to the table with? What is your service? Are you here to just take? Great, that's fine too. But are you here to play at a higher elevation? The higher frequency isn't just about taking, it's actually about generosity. How many of us want a partner that is generous? And if you want a partner that is generous, are you willing to be generous first? Are you willing to go first in the field of generosity? Or are you a person who is in the field of survival and you need to verify that this person is generous first before you're generous? Generosity is a form of courage. And when we are generous, what we are saying is, I go first in the field of providership because I know that all of the things that I want and need are coming to me in advance. I don't need to verify my environment. I am here to give before I receive in advance of the receivership, knowing that I will set the example of what receivership can even look like for my partner. Wow. That is a godly level of leadership. Godly leadership is all about going first and all about setting the example for others to see what is even possible for them. We started this session with saying that most human beings have no idea what healthy partnership even looks like. So now that you know, based on this call, it's on you to shine and show it so that others remember what is possible for them. And in this field, what we are really doing is we are training other humans to remember how to be generous. We're training other humans to remember how to have ease and grace by us first showing it to them. So going back to playfulness, we said playfulness is one of the qualities of great partnership. Playfulness means I celebrate. Celebration. So if you're in a partnership and you don't celebrate and you don't acknowledge your partner until they do something that is world class, what kind of a example are you setting? Think about it. If you're the employer and you have an employee, and this is your partner, right? This is the person you're trying to train them on how to show up for you, because most humans don't know. And if you're showing this partner how to show up for you, how beneficial is it for you to continually acknowledge things that they do right? Are you withholding your acknowledgement of your partner until they do something miraculous? The same goes for God. When you're working with God, when you're in devotion to God, when you are here to have partnership with God, are you waiting for world-class miracles to happen before you acknowledge God? Are you waiting for Jesus to fall from the sky, for Moses to part the sea before you say, God, this was your miracle, thank you? Is that the level you're holding in terms of your generosity? Or are you willing to acknowledge the micro miracles along the way? Because what you're really doing is you're here to train the system in how to serve you. And if you want to be served, you get to go first in service in your partnership. And in your devotion to God, your devotion to your partner, the more you celebrate, the more you acknowledge every micro miracle, the more you're opening up the field for the macro miracles to happen. You know that. Have you ever had an employer who only gave you a compliment when you did something that was massive? And if they only gave you compliments when you did something extremely huge, how likely were you to do small good things all the time? Right? So train yourself to celebrate yourself. Train yourself to acknowledge yourself. Train yourself to have ease and grace in every single step of it, because that is how the field will treat you. If when you see a micro miracle, you acknowledge and you say, God, thank you for this small miracle. This was yours. You were generous with me. Guess what? You are now being generous with God because you are now celebrating without holding such a tight level of requirement for you to be served. So my encouragement to you, as we start to wind this down, my encouragement to you is to be generous with your celebration. Be generous with your acknowledgement, first of yourself. Generous to yourself. How can you celebrate every micro miracle that you create? Because if you cannot celebrate the micro miracles that you create, how are you going to celebrate the macro miracle? What are you waiting for? Secondly, as you learn to celebrate yourself, it's inevitable that you get to celebrate everyone for the micro miracles that they're creating. And as you become a celebrity, meaning you are celebrating others, what starts to happen is that they start to see you as a leader. They start to say, wow, when I'm around this celebrity, I feel good about myself because I am celebrated by them. And I am remembering how celebration is a part of ease and grace because my parents used to just beat me. My parents used to never celebrate me, and this celebrity is reminding me of the light that I have in myself, and all the micro movements that I create in my life are being celebrated by this person's very presence in my life. And the more you start to distribute celebration to other people in your life, acknowledging them, at first what starts to happen is most people, because they haven't been celebrated and acknowledged for their micro miracles, at first they don't believe you. At first they doubt you because they doubt themselves, because they ask themselves, am I worthy of celebration at this small level? And what starts to happen is they might even resent you and say, why are you manipulating me? Why are you celebrating me? Why are you acknowledging me when no one has ever celebrated or acknowledged me at this level? Is it because you're trying to get something from me? And very quickly, they start to realize that you're generous. You're not trying to exchange, you are giving. You are providing. You are authorizing. You are an author. And as you start to own your authority in the field of ease and grace, light and celebration, what you're doing is you're giving permission for others to co-author with you. Partnership. And this is where you're going to start to see miracles happen. This is where partnership exists, when you went first in generosity. You chose first to go ease and grace in your life, and then others are looking at you and they're saying, wow, this person is showing me something that I have forgotten, something I never learned from my parents. And it's safe because the more they celebrate, the more there is and grace in their life, I see the more that they're actually progressing. It's safe. Wow, I want to do it too. I want to do it with you because you're the one who showed me how to celebrate. You're the one who showed me what ease and grace looks like because you were a leader in ease and grace. You didn't wait for others to ease and grace first. You went first. In today's day and age, people who choose ease and grace are seen as courageous. Can you believe that? In today's day and age, people who are in pain and suffering are actually imagining that it's safe. So when you start to celebrate in the field of ease and grace, and you start to choose things that are not there to help you be significant in suffering, in damage, in survival, what you're doing is you're showing others that it's safe to do the same. So with that, I bless you, and I send you off with a prayer today as we close out our session. I'm going to be doing this every Sunday, and I promise you my audio and visuals will get better, and I'm so grateful for loyal people here that are holding the space for me to expand. I see us having 20 to 30,000 people in this audio broadcast in the next 6 to 8 months. So let us spread the joy, and I will share a prayer with you in this moment as we close the space. Take a deep breath with me. Take another deep breath. This could be the perfect thing that you wanted to receive. God, we say thank you so much for reminding us that pain and suffering is not the only path, and that there are other choices we have. And with choice comes freedom. And we want freedom, God, so we choose with power. We choose with courage. We choose with full knowing that the choices we make are actually supporting us in being more free. And the choice we make today, God, is the choice of ease and grace in all parts of our lives, in our relationships with ourselves, in our relationships with others around us, in our finances, in our health, in our emotional freedom. We choose ease and grace in all of it, and we know that we are here to find our significance in how easy this is. And we know that we've been making it challenging for ourselves just to show how powerful we are. God, we no longer choose to show how powerful we are. We already have seen it for many years. We believe in our power. And now we open up the space of seeing how powerful you are. And we call you forth, God. We hold you accountable to show us how easy our life can be when you find the significance, when we give the significance to you in terms of handling all the challenges, while we hold the space, the integrity, the tension on ease and grace, because we know that it's a choice, it's possible. And with the possibility, we celebrate. And we celebrate how easy our life is in this moment. We celebrate how easy it is to choose health, how easy it is to choose wealth, how easy it is to choose celebration and vitality, God. And with this choice, we know that it's so easy, and we open ourselves up to receiving all the blessings, all the miracles. And in this field of generosity, God, in this field of generosity, we are so generous with pointing out your miracles. We are so generous in acknowledging you, God, in all the incredible beauty and sustenance that you provide us and that you've already provided us. And so it's our job to just celebrate and acknowledge, knowing that you're the one doing the hard work and we're the one enjoying our life's purpose with ease and grace. Thank you, God. Thank you, Amen, for all the brothers and sisters who are here. I will see you next week.